is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, March 10th. I'm Jeff here with my girls, Stephanie and Erica. Feeling good?
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Feeling good. All right, let's jump right in then. Because the fallout over Meghan and Harry's explosive interview with Oprah, well, it continues. We're now learning that Meghan might have cost Piers his job after he stormed off the set of Good Morning Britain yesterday. So Piers quit the show after he left the set. But now we're learning that Meghan reportedly personally complained about Piers' comments to the network, quote, out of concern for others dealing with their own mental health. So Piers defended those comments, tweeting on Monday. He said, I said I didn't believe Meghan Markle. I've had time to reflect on this opinion, and I still don't. If you did, okay, freedom of speech is a hill I'm happy to die on. I'm off to spend more time with my opinions. So Sharon Osbourne came to his defense, tweeting, quote, Piers, I'm with you. I stand by you. People forget that you're paid for your own opinion and that you're just speaking your truth. Others, including CNN's Jake Tapper and Megyn Kelly, Tapper, I'm sorry, also agree. I don't even know why we put those last two in there, because as soon as you go like that way, people automatically have like a staunch opinion on it. You know what I mean? But when you put in Sharon Osbourne, it might lighten the blow a little bit. But Erica, where do you stand on all this?
Well, I mean, we understand why Tapper and Megyn Kelly would come to his defense.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing I said on Monday when people were like, what's going to happen? And I'm like, he's going to make himself implode, because that's what happens when you're constantly putting energy out and you're not receiving that energy back, and then all of a sudden you don't know how to handle it. And I think that's what we saw. We saw Piers Morgan implode. Now it's come to light that he's had this very unhealthy obsession with Megyn for quite some time, because she ghosted him, never uttered his name, and he was dealing with a strong sense of who does she think she is. And because he couldn't get that part of the program and get past that, then he took himself down. You know, it's interesting when people say their First Amendment, which doesn't even apply in the UK, but same, whatever.
That's a great point.
Right, but you know, the freedom of speech. Well, yes, but the issue is you have a problem with the freedom of speech of the people who are countering your speech. He wasn't silenced. He had an option. When you're silenced, you don't have an option. They were told, or he was told, to either apologize or leave. He chose to leave. So that was giving him far more options than Meghan Markle ever had.
Go for it, Steph. This is your arena.
No, I think Erica literally hit the nail on the head there, absolutely. And I think it's ironic how he's like, I'm going to go off and spend some more time on my opinion. Well, you've got all the time in the world now, don't you, love? Because you're going to be sat at home for God knows how long.
Which is surprising to me, because he made his career off of this shock jock kind of interviewing style, or whatever he does, kind of like a Howard Stern, saying things that most people don't agree with. I'm just taking Piers in this example, and making it in your face. That's what he did, but then he chose to walk away from that. That's what confuses me most about this.
Because his pride and his ego is bigger than his compassion and ability to say he was wrong.
And
he shot himself in the foot. There's no one else to blame here.
Do you think it's just the opinion about the suicide? Because I have a problem with that too. I don't like that he said that about the suicide. I don't mind that he has his own opinion, though. If it was something just like confrontational, I think we need more people speaking up for their opinions. Not in this particular case, but in general.
Again, so for instance, if we were discussing this and whether we believed Meghan or not, I think each one of us would have done that with a bit more decorum and kindness, and taken into account, okay, I'm not living in her shoes and I don't know what it feels like. This is not my opinion, but I'm not sure I believe all of the story. The way in which he said it was so rude.
Generalize it.
He generalized it. He poked fun at her. He said even if she was a weather girl, he wouldn't believe the weather report. He tore down and assassinated her character in every single way possible, and left no room for compassion for a woman who publicly has come forward saying she was alone and had suicidal thoughts whilst pregnant. So I mean,
very serious.
I think as well the reason why in the UK, I mean, obviously there's outrage on both sides of the pond, but in the UK in particular, it comes down a lot to, there was a female, not on the same show, but on the same network, Caroline Flack, who died in February 2020. She committed suicide because of personal situations that were happening to her, the lack of support, and also the press that was following her and the headlines that followed her life, and she felt there was no escape. So the network, ITV, on which Piers' show was broadcast on, had this huge mental health awareness campaign, to which Piers basically said, it's all a load of nonsense and no one's listening.
Right. And I mean, Caroline Flack's story was large enough. I knew the story. Right. That was one of the first things that I thought of, because one of the headlines, and at least in the U.S., was that she thought that death was going to be more merciful than the UK press. I mean, that really tells you what they're dealing with. And I think with the Piers Morgan story, it goes so deep because it goes into misogyny. And also, like, keep in mind, I come from a morning radio background from, 20 years ago? Shock jocks was what it was, you know? Like, that's how I came up. That's how I learned the game. So I'm very aware of how people manipulate the system and make a ton ton of money to do what Piers Morgan is doing. But what Piers is really showing is that he doesn't have the backbone or the ability to take it the way he was giving it. And that's really what it came down to. He didn't want to have to deal with other people voicing their opinions.
He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear it back.
You think this is the end of him, or we'll see him again perhaps on a podcast or his own show?
He'll probably do something on his own, but I mean,
sure.
I think networks and television stations are going to steer clear of him, because I think the British public and the American public have spoken up, and no one wants to see or hear it anymore.
When you're dealing with a network, you got to play ball, which means we got to get to the next story. All right, we are learning some new details about Lady Gaga's dog napping case. So according to TMZ, the suspects who shot her dog walker and kidnapper her two dogs, two French bulldogs, may have been part of a gang initiation. So TMZ, similar dog napping incidents have been reported in the area, making police believe the incident was gang related, and police have told Lady Gaga not to pay out the $500,000 reward to the woman who found her dogs until, I thought there was no questions asked, until they make sure she has nothing to do with the crime. What happened to no questions asked? I'm stuck on that.
Well, to Lady Gaga, she was saying no questions asked because she wanted her dogs to return unharmed. But with law enforcement, that's something completely different. You can't be benefiting off of your crimes.
Yeah. Oh, really? I was like all for, I'm like, hey, they said no questions asked.
No, Lady Gaga probably will be like, I don't want to know, just give me my dogs back. And then the police will be like, right, so who's the lady? What was it? Who did you make the check out to?
Do you believe that lady who found those dogs is entitled to that money?
Well,
depends on the background circumstances.
Like if it was totally random, she was just walking down the street.
If it was totally random, then yeah.
Would you push for it if you found those dogs? Or would you be like, Gaga, hand it over?
I'd probably, yeah.
I don't know. I think that if I found the dogs, I mean, just like any neighborhood, like I see a dog in a neighborhood and I'll start asking around to see if, or like check a tag. I would be more happy that I found dogs that I would return, and if something came back to me in the form of money, great, I guess, but like at the end of the day, like I know how I would feel if Spike went missing, and I just, anytime I see like signs in our neighborhood, I'm just like, dear Lord, please let them get their dogs back. Like, it's emotional, you know, so if I saw two dogs, I'd be like, where's your mom?
You know what I think about immediately when I see that? I think of like a little kid that lost his friend. And it makes me like cry.
Never mind a little kid. As adults, they're like our babies.
I know, but my mind immediately goes like to that little kid, be like, where's Barky? You know, it's like, oh my God, so sad. All right, meantime, Lady Gaga is giving us a first look from her movie, House of Gucci, that is currently filming in Italy right now. That's where she was when the dogs got napped. Lady Gaga is playing Patrizia Reggiani, the ex-wife of Maurizio Gucci, played by Adam Driver. The photo is going viral over its 1980s ski chalet vibe. Steph, that's like you, huh?
I love it.
There is a look at Lady Gaga's photo next to the real photo. Steph, you got to take a photo next to that one. And Patrizia was convicted of killing Maurizio, who was the head of the Gucci fashion house back in 1995 and spent 18 years behind bars for the crime. Listen, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure I'm up to date on like what exactly happened there. Is she out of jail now?
Yeah, she's out of jail. And
why? Was there some sort of circumstances that she only got 18 years for killing someone?
Well, she didn't actually kill someone. She just asked someone else to do it for her.
Oh, she put a hit out on it.
Yeah, and then a reporter asked her, she was like apparently she was having like a bad day or something, and she was really tired, and a reporter said to her, you know, why didn't you do it? Why did you get a hit out on him? And she went, well, my eyesight isisn't good enough to shoot straight.
Wow. See, I don't learn about history till it comes out on Netflix.
I love it.
Jeez.
No, like,
Lord.
I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm really into this stuff, so maybe it's just me, but there's also like a docu-series, well, a drama series on Versace. And
oh, yeah.
I know all about it. I can tell you.
Yeah.
I've got high expectations on this too, and like, you know, really getting in the nitty-gritty of behind their relationship and what happened there. But Maurizio wanted to leave her, you see, and she obviously wasn't very happy about it and decided to take matters into her own hands, from my understanding.
Girl, let him leave. It's gonna be all right. You ain't got to go around killing any people.
I know.
I know.
Like,
and she's out.
That's it. I mean, she may have done that, but she's lost her life, yeah.
All right, we'll be talking about that when the movie comes out.
Oh,
Coming
yeah.
up on DBL, the original Real World cast is back decades later. What it is like reuniting after so many years. And Tori chats with 2 of those OG cast members. And we'll tell you why you don't want to get on Emily Clark's bad side. Uh-oh, the mother of dragons. Stephanie tells us what up in What Up Wednesday.
Closed captioning provided by...
Drive-thrus have been booming during the pandemic, and restaurants are betting that will continue. Now they're using technology to predict what you'll order. Let's connect the dots. When the pandemic hit and restaurants faced restrictions, more places started upping their drive-thru game. That means Starbucks had workers walking car lines taking orders. Chipotle created Chipotlanes, where customers can grab pre-ordered food. And even Applebee's is testing its first drive-thru. Several big names are trying to improve the drive-thru experience with technology. For many, that means encouraging customers to order through apps to speed up the process and improve accuracy. Other restaurants have loyalty programs through their apps that reward customers with points for free food. And fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King are turning to artificial intelligence to predict what you'll order. That means everything from suggesting iced coffee on a hot day to using Bluetooth technology to ID loyalty program members and ask if you want the same thing you ordered the last time. It's an improvement over screaming into a static-filled speaker in the drive-thru lane.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Good.
Still in
People
Congress.
out there watching who are appalled.
You acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's
Leave
going
Jeff
on.
alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
Welcome back to DBL. I'm Stephanie Jones with the latest celeb gossip, and you might be relieved to hear that none of it involves Harry and Meghan. However, could another baby be on the way for the Kardashian-Jenner clan? And don't mess with their dragon queen. Why Emilia Clarke is making headlines. It's What Up Wednesday. But first, let's head on over to the What Up World map, where we are going to Boston. That's George Clooney's temporary home while filming his latest movie. Now, before he was a mega star or an Oscar winner, George was known as Doug on ER.
You know, I'm a very good speller.
Now, here's what's up. The A-list actor admitted his wife, Amal, has only just started watching the soap series.
My wife is watching them now, and it's getting me in a lot of trouble because I've forgotten all of the, terrible things I was doing, picking up on women.
Is there a doctor in the house? Because that's gotta burn. But don't call 911 just yet, because George still sang Amal's praises even though she's not a fan. Sometimes love is the best medicine after all. Our second stop is in LA, where we're paying Kendall Jenner a visit. So apparently the supermodel has caught the fever. Baby fever, that is. Here's what's up. The 25-year-old is featured in the new trailer for Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where she dropped the bombshell news.
I want kids badly soon.
With more than 8 nieces and nephews, Kendall has got some serious babysitting experience under her designer belt, and that means that this already big family could just be getting even bigger. And finally, we're going to London. I promised you a break from royal gossip, and I meant it. We're actually talking about a different kind of queen, Amelia Clark. So, you know, the mother of dragons. Well, if you want to see Amelia breathe fire, here's one way to do it. Here's what's up. The actress recently opened up about getting a facial, where the employees told her she should start getting work done to her face, like fillers. Yeah, I mean, imagine saying that to Queen Daenerys. So the actress said she responded by showing them the door and has got zero regrets about it, which I have to say, long live the Queen. That's it for this week's What Up Wednesday. DBL will be back right after this.
We all know that movement.
The hunt for the coronavirus vaccine has led some to try an unusual tactic, searching for leftover vaccine doses. So how are they finding them? Let's connect the dots. Leftover vaccines happen when a provider thaws out doses and must use them within hours or have to throw them away. They can be left with extras because people simply don't show up for appointments, or bad weather forces sites to shut down. That has led to lucky people who just happen to be on hand getting their coronavirus vaccine. This phenomenon has led to the creation of vaccine hunters, people on social media trading info on where and when leftover doses might be handed out. Vaccine hunter Facebook groups have tens of thousands of members, all sharing tips. Sometimes it's as simple as showing up to a vaccination site at the end of the day to see if you can be only one of the lucky few who scores a vaccine. A New York-based startup is trying to use tech to hook people up with extra doses. The company, called Dr. B, matches providers with leftover vaccines with a wait list of people who want them. According to USA Today, already more than 500,000 people have signed up. The site says it'll soon be teamed up with 200 vaccination sites across 30 states, bringing new meaning to waste not, want not.
Welcome back to DBL. Being on Big Brother, I know a thing or two about reality shows, but also as a viewer who watched the original season of The Real World. Earlier, Tori caught up with Julie Gentry and Andre Komau about their Real World reunion almost 30 years later. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Julie and Andre, welcome to DBL. 7 strangers picked to live in a house. Sorry, I just love it. The Real World changed the course of television history and the world of reality TV. Why do you think MTV specifically picked you to be part of this amazing social experiment? Julie, you go first.
I think they were terrified of what I would do to myself if I was left to my own devices. And at 19, I did not know what I was doing at that age, and I really was looking for, to have some other experiences and to, get out of the South for a minute. And I think they knew that I was anxious for these kinds of opportunities, and so I was an easy one to cast for that.
You were like done and done. Andre, why do you think they picked you?
Because I'm a crazy character. I think that we're all very opinionated, and we all come from different walks of life and have something to say, something different to bring to the table.
I think so too. Andre, I want to ask you this. I don't know if some of our viewers might not know this because reality TV has taken over the world. Y'all were the very first, in my opinion. When did you realize, Andre, this show was like a big deal?
I guess when we saw the first episode, it all became clear that this was going to be a special event.
Andre. The door opened and I saw 5 other people, nothing like me or most of the people that I hang out with.
But it wasn't until they started airing the episodes back to back that we realized that this was going to have an impact on our generation.
Julie, what's one thing you regret doing while the cameras were rolling?
There was an episode with my mom that really hurt her feelings.
Really?
When she came to it.
Just give me a hug. Don't. I won't. It's gonna be okay.
Because, you know, it is one of those things when you sign up for this, and I'm comfortable putting myself in a goofy position and making a mistake. Like, I'm good with that. But it's another thing to bring your family into it.
Andre, what was it like reuniting with the entire cast 30 years later? I mean, what was that? Were you nervous?
Super excited to see everybody. We've really kept in touch over the years. So it's because all of us have seen each other at certain times over the years. But it was the first time that we were all together since the early 90s.
It's unrealistic to think that something that we did in the past that was filmed was not going to be brought up again.
Wow. It's like you guys were all a social experiment, all out on each other, and you only have that group of 7. You only have been through that story, the 7 of you. That's it in the whole wide world that can understand that experience. Is that right, Julie?
Absolutely. And I think we really rely on each other a lot, you know, in that way. When we went in and did that, we had to trust each other so much. And it really did help us form a strong bond that has lasted. And I guess it gave us a certain comfort level coming back together.
Yeah.
That part is really special that it's hard to really explain to people.
Yeah, that camaraderie, that's like very unique to you guys. Well, reality TV shows have changed, but I have to say, they're all fake, they're all scripted, except for you 7. I'm so honored to talk to you. Honestly, you were the first, and you really made an impact in terms of pop culture. Julie and Andre, thank you so much for joining us. But DBL Nation, you can stream The Real World Homecoming, New York on Paramount Plus. Get some popcorn and watch a real reality show. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to make sure we're getting the facts. When something spreads online, we find out what's real and what's not.
Maria McBroom wanted to know,
Here's a question we keep hearing again and again, including on a recent Facebook Live.
is the 1 dose just as safe as the 2 dose?
So let's verify. Should people turn down the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine and wait for the Moderna or Pfizer instead?
They're all in the same ballpark as regards effectiveness and safety.
Dr. William Schaffner from the Vanderbilt University School of Medicine said you should absolutely not turn down the J&J vaccine.
I actually know what the best vaccine is. The best vaccine is the one that's available to you today. Roll up your sleeve and get it.
So let's look at the data from the FDA. By now, many of us have heard that the J&J shot had a 66% efficacy rate worldwide. That compares with a 95% for Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. But we have to remember that that's just for preventing moderate to severe cases. The numbers are way better when we start talking about more serious consequences. The trial showed that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was 85% effective in preventing the most severe disease and 100% effective at stopping hospitalizations and death. Here's Dr. Namanje Bumpus from Johns Hopkins Medicine.
These are the things to really think about and not to get caught up in comparing these numbers. These vaccines are all safe and effective.
Our experts also say it's not apples to apples comparing the vaccines. Remember, the Johnson & Johnson trial was done when there were these new variants spreading. So we can verify that false. Our experts all say that you should not pass on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Good.
Still in
people
Congress.
out there watching who are appalled.
You acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's going on.
alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
Welcome back to DBL. Good move, Steph. Home insurance premiums have gone up over the past few years. So what can you do to lower yours and save some cash? We're chatting about it in today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. First, ask for discounts. Don't be scared. If you have a home alarm or specialty doorbell or anything that increases your security, you could qualify for a discount. Second, bundle. Buy your home and auto policies from the same insurer. Buying 2 or more policies will likely lower your premium. And third, increase your credit score. The higher your score, the more you save. When it comes to your money, The Hartford Financial is here to help. Whether it is home, life, or business insurance, the Bucks got your back. Call 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more. So my question when I was reading that was, Erica, because you introduced me to the Ring doorbell, and now I love it. Is that qualify, you think? I know you're not an insurance agent.
Oh yeah,
But
I
it's
mean,
home
what they were showing on that on the B-roll was something similar, if not that. So yeah, I mean, anything that is giving you more security in your home will give you a little bit of a break. So yeah, it's always a good idea to secure. You know me, I like all the cameras.
Whenever I have anything important, restaurants included, I always I gotta ask Erica. You're like my go-to. I'm gonna ask Erica all about it. I just had to. I wanted to get some blood work done. I'm like, Erica, you know a good place? It's so random.
I do that too. I do exactly the same. I think everyone here does. But like, okay, who is the most responsible and knows?
It's true.
Yeah.
Lord, I'm the most responsible. Y'all are up a hill without a paddle.
I think it's
or creek without a paddle.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place.
That was funny. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.